Hello friends, I've seen people asking how you open the crankshaft of the motorized bicycle engine. Right, what happens here is that these two flywheels are force-fitted together. They are press-fit so that the crankshaft maintains its balance. There is no any screw mechanism here, as you can see. Now, with me, the problem with the crankshaft is that the lower conrod bearing ceased to work, it is damaged, and so the engine can no longer run. So today I'm going to show you how you split this into two so that you can access the lower conrod bearing and remove it. Now, I have in my set a bench vise, a hammer, and then I've got these two square bars of metal, 3 of them actually, and oxy-acetylene equipment. Now, what I have to do is I need to have these two rods here, one there and the other one there. But with this conrod like this, the connecting rod, if by any chance I hammer here trying to remove this lower plate, I am possibly going to break the connecting rod or damage it. Now, what do? I have to force the lower connecting rod to move in as much as the lower bearing is seized. I have to bend it until it gives me the shortest distance possible. This is the shortest distance from there to there. Unlike there, where it was from there to there. Now it's becoming a little bit loose after forcing it. And this is what I now do. After doing this, I can now set this rod of metal between the flywheel and the other one, this side, and ensuring that this conrod is suspended and is not going to hit on the vise when I start hammering out the flywheel. Right. Now, the issue that is here, the trick is to hit the flywheel. You have to reheat it round this pin that we see that connects the two flywheels where the lower connecting rod bearing sits. You have to hit on the flywheel, avoid hitting the pin, because if you hit the pin, it will expand and become even tight. So you have to hit right round on the flywheel so that only the flywheel expands and produces enough space for this little pin to be hammered out. Now, there I am going to set my oxygen and acetylene equipment. Ready. Adjust the frame to neutral. You don't want it to hot, otherwise you end up overheating and melting the flywheel. Now I come here and I hit, checking not to avoid getting the cone right on the metal. It does not have to fit, but as close as possible so that I can localize my flame and the heat. Now I bring this bar onto the pin. There we go, it's moving. I need some oil. Okay, I think that's enough. It does not have to be red wood, it just has to be wood. Red wood will permanently damage the flywheel. Okay, and event one, split into two. Now we have our two halves, the top half and the bottom half. What I now need to do is to check on the bearing. As you can see, it's worn out. I need to check both the con rod and the bearing and the housing where it sits on the pin. What exactly killed this bearing? What damaged the bearing? Because if the con rod here has got a problem, it's possibly the one that is killing this bearing, and putting it back just like that into the motor will give problems in that the bearing might sometimes break off and chip off, and then those pieces are ripped and pulled by the pressure of the engine into the cylinder and end up scratching that aluminium cylinder block. And there we have it, a bearing with a housing that is broken off, pieces there, debris, and there's too much space, just too much space. One thing about using bearings that have got a housing, a casing, is that they do not have a lot of points where the two-stroke oil can get in to lubricate the bearing. So if that bearing is there, there's a high chance of failure, especially if you are moving at high revolutions per minute. So keep your revolutions low, or at least try by all means to make sure that you perforate, you drill that casing in some areas. Because when it comes, the bearing has got just one hole, but try to make two more holes to make them three, so that you can have oil getting in through to the bearing to avoid bearing failure. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In the scootering community, this is how we open a flywheel and a crankshaft so that we can get access to the lower connecting rod bearing.